Hello, namaste. My name is Netra Kher. I'm a counseling psychologist by profession and I'm a RBT practitioner. Today, I welcome you all in another episode of Netra Talks. Today, we are going to do our another interview series with Mr. Vinesh. Yeah, so Dr. Vinesh, I welcome you in today's webinar. Uh, I will briefly introduce him by introducing our topic. Our topic name is the smartphone and internet addiction and mental health. So basically, Dr. Vinesh Chandramania is born as Bajju, South Indian by surname. He's a psychiatrist by profession. He's a fitness freak, runner, shyer, and marathon trainer by passion. He's practicing since last 11 years in this industry. He is a psychiatrist and he is owner of Sahajananda Mind Point Clinic, mental and sexual wellness clinic at Malad East. Yeah, I welcome Dr. Vinesh in today's talk. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. So as you have seen that there are multiple people in the area, like everyone now and then, everyone is having a smartphone. Even the smallest kids have iPhones nowadays. Yeah. So when we are seeing this internet or smartphone addiction, especially in the lockdown, has increased a lot. And schools are also there on mobile. Everyone is working from home, so everyone is either on smartphone. They're using like camera is computer is interchangeably work. People work as mobile also. So we have serious work on mobile also. So my question to you is, what does this internet or smartphone addiction really mean? Is it related to gaming? Is it related to social media addiction? Or is it related to any pornographic content related addiction? How do you define this addiction?
See, before defining addiction, we must know what is addiction, what we mean by addiction. See, addiction
Okay,
can be of any substance or any activity. So it
true.
could be of alcohol or any drugs, or it could be of the smartphone or internet, or any gaming addiction or cyber sex addiction. There are multiple
Hmm.
varieties of addiction. So basically, addiction means repeated involvement in any substance or activity despite the knowledge that it is causing harm or negative consequences in our life. Still we
Okay,
are unable to control that use, and we
okay.
continue to use it because a person finds that thing pleasurable.
Hmm.
So that's why he is continuously involved in the activity or a particular this thing. So
Hmm.
there are four, actually basically there are four things which defines addiction. One is, it includes, it can be a substance or any activity. It causes a substantial harm or a negative consequences in our life.
Hmm.
We know that it causes substantial harm, still we are repeatedly involved or excessively using a particular substance or a particular activity, and it continues because it is pleasurable, it gives some pleasurable reward. So that's why we are indulging into that activity. So definitely only smartphone, only instrument rarely causes any addiction. The
Acha.
main addiction is of the game, is of the camera, like through selfies, clicking endless selfies,
Hmm.
and through internet use, whereby we are using multiple apps and social networking sites, and that causes much more addiction rather than an instrument only. So previously when we were using that keypad wala normal phone, that were not addictive. But
Ah,
when the
true.
internet has become a rule, and it is now mandatory for all the smartphone users that they are giving internet for free, and that's why actually the use has increased. The second thing is that we think that internet is free, that's why we are using it, but it is other way around. We are free and internet is using us, and we are not realizing that thing.
Yeah,
So
true.
there was, when there was a time when internet was a little bit costly, so we used to recharge on a particular date that our internet data has expired and all. So now what has become, it has become free. Each and every telecom company is providing internet for free. They are giving you unlimited calling, unlimited data and all, and so we are using more and more. So this is the answer.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. So, there's a different question I wanted to ask. Like, people have withdrawal symptoms. So, does these people also have any kind of symptoms? Like, that addiction is there more into alcohol or tobacco use. But if we are not able to control this addiction and we have to stop it, so does that also have any withdrawal symptoms like that?
Yes, definitely. See, a word, typically one word is used for a smartphone addiction, which is called as a nomophobia. So
Hmm.
nomophobia is fear of being without mobile phone. So for
Oh,
example, when I forgot my phone at my home, or I am using my phone and the battery goes down, or there is some internet connection problem. So what happens na ke my I definitely feel a withdrawal features in the form of anger, irritability. I
hmm.
will get frustrated. There is anxiety. There
Hmm.
is definitely a restlessness which I experience. A lot of sleep disturbances people are experiencing. So definitely there is a withdrawal features, because this smartphone or internet addiction, they are working on a same pleasure pathway on which other substances are working, like alcohol or other drugs. So
Ah,
definitely internet uh, addiction disorders, they have a specific biological background behind it. So it leads to withdrawal features,
okay.
definitely, and it is called as a nomophobia.
Acha. And sir, what is you just briefly explained about the brain changes which happen. Can you throw more light on what are the neurotransmitters generated or which are the hormones involved when we see another message? There is a temptation which happens in our mind and we go and see mobile. Yeah, especially if there is a WhatsApp message or anything. So that's why it keeps on updating, and there are always notifications of many things. So,
Yes.
what do we like? How do we understand how what are the brain changes happen?
Basically there are multiple factors which are responsible for any kind of addictions. There are psychological factors, there are many environmental factors, social factors, and biological factors.
True.
So half of the risk of any kind of addiction is through genetics, through
Hmm.
genes. Our genes, they actually decide, like for example, if a person who is using lot of internet or any kind of addiction he is into, so his genes are more expressive, and it determines the reward system. Like for example, if I am using anything for a first time, let it be any substance or phone or internet, so
Hmm.
how quick I will use it for a second time, that is decided by the genes. So
Okay.
there are multiple pleasure pathways which are there in our brain. So the main pleasure pathways or main neurotransmitters which are affected by this addiction is the dopaminergic system.
Acha.
Now this dopamine, brain dopamine, is related to the reward system of our brain. So
Hmm.
whenever we are achieving something,
Hmm.
our dopamine is released and it gives us a positive motivation to do that thing again and again. Similarly, when we are doing any kind of addiction, that dopamine system in our ventral tegmental area is getting disturbed, and it gives us that kick or high which is
Acha.
related to any kind of a addiction, and so we are slipping into that addiction.
Okay.
Also this addiction affects various prefrontal and subcortical centers like limbic system and
Oh.
gray matter. So now the gray matter of the brain, there are gray matter and a white matter. So gray matter is related to more of a emotional processing. So
Hmm.
all the emotional processing centers, motivation, our sensory centers, like we see, we hear, we speak, all
Hmm.
these things are located in our limbic system and our prefrontal cortex,
Hmm.
and the addiction affects those, targets those brain areas and do certain neurochemical dysregulations in our brain, and which leads to further addiction.
Okay. Is that does that gray area mean the amygdala, sir?
See, gray area means the most of the dendrites bodies are there. See, our brain is composed of a neurons, and
Hmm.
neurons has a body and this thing. So the dendrite, the body is
Hmm.
mainly in the gray matter. So
Acha.
most of the information processing, emotional processing units, they are in the gray matter. So our brain volume shrinks.
Hmm.
Our brain volume shrinks. It becomes lesser as we are addicted to the certain things like activities or certain substances.
Okay. Sir, are there any specific people who are more likely to get addicted? Are there people, maybe, are they uh, the people who feel very lonely? Are they people who are very bored? So these are few examples. Are there people who are weak by mind, or I don't know, but I just want to know which are the kind of people who will fall more for this addiction?
Basically, uh, smartphone use, more of a excessive smartphone use or internet use, is basically underlined by certain things like if a person is feeling lonely, if he is stressed out, if he is not having that a strong social support. So
Hmm.
definitely for his relieving or alleviating his anxiety or a stress or coming out of his depression,
Hmm.
he finds uh, a phone as a very convenient way, because you and sometimes many people, they use smartphone as a security blanket, like they use it as a alleviating their stress, loneliness, anxiety, and also to get rid of the awkwardness from the social situations. So
Okay.
when we interview a person with a excessive smartphone use, sometimes we find that he is having a social fear or a social phobia. He's very reluctant, or he's fearful in communicating in a social situations or meeting new people. So what
True.
they do now, when they go to these social functions or social situations now, they use more of their phone, so that they
Hmm.
do not have to interact eye to
Acha.
eye with the other
Yeah.
fellow.
Okay.
So that way also they are using, and also definitely from to alleviate anxiety, stress, depression, loneliness, and all these things, they are using smartphone.
Hmm.
The second thing is there, the size of the smartphone and convenience to carry is also
True.
a
Yeah.
precipitating factor, because see,
Hmm.
previously we were having a desktop. So desktop is unable to move from one place to another place. So
Yes.
whenever we are at the office, we are using that internet, and when we are not in that contact, we are not using it. But now that smartphone has given a complete package of internet, multiple apps, desktop, all these things are there in your phone, and it is definitely a convenience.
Hmm.
You are in your pocket, you can carry it anywhere around the world. So that has also increased the use of smartphone.
So it's convenient to
Also,
get addicted also.
yes, obviously. And there is also one thing that it we feel our smartphone as our extended self. See,
True.
the sense of self is developed when we are in the womb of our mother. But the extended self is gradually, when we are becoming older and older, we are developing that sense of extended self. So whenever the phone is with me, and I feel that more security and more that feeling of extended self is there. So that's why also we are using phone. Also using a phone or keeping a phone, it will release your certain hormones like dopamine, which is a feel good hormone, and there is also one hormone which is called as oxytocin. So
Hmm.
the oxytocin is a love hormone. So there
Yeah.
is a sense of belongingness and sense of attachment
Hmm.
which we develop with our phone. That's why we are using that phone more and more.
Are there any kind different different mental illnesses which happen because of this addiction?
Obviously, hey, yes, there are. See, first thing, it develops or it increases your stress levels. See, one myth which is there in our brain, that we are using a phone or doing certain addiction for relaxation, to
Ah.
get rid from the stress we are having. But that is actually a misconception and a biggest myth, because whenever you are doing certain addiction, initially they are rewarding or relaxing, but permanent effect, when we look at it, the permanent effect is very traumatic and distressing. So definitely it will reduce your stress, or it will increase your stress hormone, it will increase your depression, it will increase or exacerbate your anxiety levels, it will also disturb your relationships. Because of the smartphone and internet use, now people are more into a virtual relationships than face-to-face relationships. So the offline relationships has suffered a lot, and they are facing that interpersonal and familial problems due to internet, excessive internet and mobile use. Also, people are facing uh, sleep disturbances. See, more of the clients, when they come to us, when we ask why you are using your phone during night time, they say that, doctor, we are not getting enough or a proper sleep, so we start surfing on our phone. And that is the wrong thing, because the light emitted from these smartphones or any screen is a UV light, and it will hamper your melatonin secretion. And melatonin is a sleep precursor hormone which is required, and it is essential for a quality sleep
True.
or a refreshing sleep. So definitely sleep problem. A lot of self-absorption is going because of the excessive internet or a smartphone use. So people are developing that narcissistic traits, what we call it as a narcissism, self-centeredness.
Selfie is also one of the examples.
Yeah, selfie is one of the example of the narcissism or a self-centeredness. You are taking selfie from one angle. If you are not getting more likes, you are compelled to click another selfie and put on your social media and all. So that is a sense of self-centeredness. So that is also developing. Lot of attention deficit problems are developing in a children's, because see, social media usage is much more in an age group of 13 to 30. 13 to 30 years students and young generation, they are using social media a lot. So after using much of a social media and internet, definitely they are going to develop attention deficit problem. Their attention and concentration will get reduced. Our ability to concentrate and think deeply or creatively, it will get definitely affected. Lot of physical problems are happening. So one is called as a carpal tunnel syndrome. So carpal tunnel syndrome, when you are excessively using your fingers for your mobile and internet, it will have a compression of your median nerve in your wrist, and it will lead to some tingling and numbness and weakness in your fingers.
Okay.
One neck problem is also excessively spondylosis and all
Back
is also
problem.
neck problem. And dry eyes is a very dangerous condition of the eye, where your these lacrimal glands, they secrete less of oil and fluid, so your eyes are very red and very dry and irritated. So all these problems are definitely, apart from psychological illnesses, this also is happening. And smartphone and internet addiction are now classified as an obsessive compulsive spectrum disorder.
Okay.
So they are in a spectrum from a obsessive compulsive to impulse control. So they are midway in between the OC and impulse control disorders.
Acha. Sir, these are different addictions. We need mobile. We need mobile for our regular usage. So as we tell addicted people, those who are addicted to alcohol or something, completely stop alcohol. Yeah, but this we can't tell to people who are using mobile for their work or something, but they have been addicted. So are there any ways in which they can be de-addicted from this or get rid of addiction part of it, basically? Or are there always medication required for internet addiction?
No, see, basically what happens now, timing criteria, as we see on the research. So if you are spending more than 3 hours or 3.5 hours in a day over your smartphone or internet, then we are addicted to internet. And on in some or the other way, most of us are addicted to the internet or smartphone use. But the main thing is how badly it is impacting your life. So the main criteria for starting treatment is the a gross or significant socio-occupational personal impairment. So if excessive smartphone use has started impacting your life, either psychologically, physically, or socially, or personally, so definitely there is a strong need for an intervention. So the first thing is required is the awareness, the acceptance, and the acknowledgement that we are using smartphone in a excessively. So that acknowledgement and awareness and acceptance is necessary for any treatment. So as if I am not accepting my smartphone use, then I will not be ready for any kind of a treatment or any kind of a self-help tips. So that acknowledgement is necessary. Second thing, we have to identify the trigger points when we are using our smartphone more, in which conditions, and we have to replace that conditions with a healthier activity. So if I am using my smartphone to get rid of my stress, so I can use some other healthier activity, some relaxation technique, some mindfulness, or any kind of other technique that will alleviate my stress, that will reduce my stress rather than a smartphone. Third thing, we have to increase our coping skills. We have to understand the difference between the in-person relationship and the virtual relationship. So now as people are using smartphone more and more, they are more giving importance more to their Facebook or a social life friends than the in-person or offline friends. So definitely there is a relationship issues which is going on. We have to keep a log between how much we are using our phone for essential activities or a work related activities and non-essential or a non-work related activities. So that we have to, and then we have to look at it, how much hours. See, there are certain apps which we can download from our Android or a Play Store, and they will monitor our smartphone use and internet use. One of the app is called as a rescue time, app detox. Certain apps are there. Definitely it will help in curtailing our internet use. Also, if there is excessive problem, like any psychological problem we are facing, any sleep related problem, or any depression or anxiety, or any kind of problem, attention related problem we are facing, definitely we should seek help from a therapist or a psychiatrist. Sometimes what happens now, if there is a profound or a significant socio-occupational impairment, then we recommend a use of medications. Otherwise, a supportive psychotherapy like CBT or motivational therapy is enough. And some motivational or a self-help tips we give to our clients, and we ask them to follow that tips. So one thing is that we have to set goals regarding our smartphone use. In which conditions we have to use the phone, and in which conditions we do not have to use our phone. We have to create a phone free zones. Okay, that on dining table there should not be any phone while eating. There should not be any phone while we are going for a sleep. So don't bring your phone to the bed. So because as I said, there is a tendency to reduction in the melatonin level if we use our phone excessively. Then there are you can make certain guidelines for self and the family members regarding the internet, Wi-Fi and smartphone use. You can definitely do not give phone to a children unless and until it is necessary. If you are giving, you can monitor their use, what sites they are going to, what web they are surfing through certain apps. Definitely we can do that. We can customize the notification. See, why we are using phone for a first time, that some notification has come up on the screen and we are doing. So we can customize a notification from the panel, from going into the settings and all. Yeah, then we can keep our phone like downwards. So don't keep it upward, like screen facing upward. We can keep it downward. So whenever there is a popping up of the notification, we will not look at that phone. We can have a break time. Like if we are going to a job and we are continuously using any screen or any mobile for our work related purpose, we can have a certain break time. So there is a rule of 20. Every 20 minutes you should have a break for actually ideally 2 minutes from your phone.
Hmm.
So that definitely it will also reduce strain over your eyes and that dry eye conditions and all. Then we can unnecessary apps we can get rid of, as long as if social media I am it is not necessary to use any apps or any social media, then we can keep a simple keypad wala phone with us. Sometimes people are using phone to see the time instead of watch. So I tell my patients that you can watch, you can buy a watch of 150 rupees rather than using your phone, because once you have removed phone from your pocket, then you are there is a tendency to slip into that
Sleep
use.
into that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that way we can do it. Placing phone when you are at your home, placing the phone is also important. Like if you place a phone above your eye level, so while you are going from your one room to the other, it will not it will not be in front of your eyes. So you should keep at a level above than your eyes. So definitely there are less tendency to check your phone or to take your phone again and again. So certain rules are also, relaxation techniques are helping, meditations and mindfulness techniques, they are helping a lot. Also psychotherapy or a counseling, what I said, like CBT and motivational training, definitely. And if someone has an excessive smartphone or internet addiction problem or severe withdrawal features or tolerance and all that things are there, then we advise them for certain medications like antidepressants or psychostimulants are there, which help them to get rid of the this thing, excessive use. And one formula is there which I tell to each and every of my patient, which is called as a 90 plus 60 plus 30 formula. So 90 means 90 minutes of your day when you are waking up. So first 90 minutes of your day, you should not touch to your phone, because that 90 minutes is for yourself. You can do exercise, you can do yoga, you can do meditation during that 90-minute period. So it is a self time. 60 minutes. After you come from a office to your home, don't touch phone for 60 minutes after coming back to home, because that 60 minutes is for your family members and your children's, your spouse, because they are eagerly waiting for your arrival. And 30 minutes, so before going to bed, that 30 minutes before going to bed, switch off your phone, because that 30 minutes is for a self introspection. So you can introspect how was your day, and you can do a self introspection kind of things, some relaxation, some chanting work you can do, and you go to bed. So this is a 90-60-30 formula.
Very nice, doctor. Thank you so much for these practical tips. Generally, we get knowledge or general talks related to ये ऐसे होता है, वैसे होता है. But this was more related to precisely what happens to you, why it happens to you, and how we can get rid of that. Thank you so much for today's talk. There are 3 A's which he said and which I found very fascinating. Is the first thing is you need to be aware, people, that you are getting addicted. Second thing is you need to acknowledge the fact that this is going towards addiction and I need to do something about it. And when you will start, we will start working on it is when you will accept that you are fallen for this addiction. So these are the 3 A's which I think summarizes Dr. Dinesh's talk. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us for the today. Please do like, share.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
So please do like, share, and subscribe my channel. Sharing is a good deed. Happy sharing.